All women are different, but they are all women. This video is androcentric from a men's point of view and is presented as opinion, commentary, and debate. Expressing opinions is not violence. These are ideas to challenge, question, and argue in public, because classical liberalism relies on the First Amendment for its dialectic. If you are a feminist, then consider this. If patriarchy truly existed as claimed, feminism could not. And if all men are trash and women are equal to men, then what are we to conclude? Women will die for their children, men will die for their wives and children, and God chose to die for all mankind. Authority rolls up with responsibility. If this framing of facts offends you, click off to a cute cat video. Proceeding further will expose you to gamma bias and criticism directed at ideas, claims, institutions, not at any individual's virtue or dignity. Our method follows the 7 liberal arts, the trivium, grammar, logic, rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. If this framework is not for you, feel free to exit now. It's no disgrace. Women are wonderful. God bless America. Men are great. The Great Feminization, wokeness, an epiphenomenon of female supremacy, capture of institutions, and Marxist satanic inversions of merit to DEI. Written by Conrad Rigor, available now. Links in description. The truth is not your friend. How the priesthood of victimhood gaslights men into slavery while women burn the temple down. You know that moment when you realize you've been lied to your entire life? Like the time I stood in a Walmart parking lot, watching a woman scream at her boyfriend for forgetting to buy cilantro, while he stood there like a whipped dog with 3 kids in the back seat and a paycheck that barely covered diapers, and I thought, this isn't love, this is a protection racket. Welcome to the real world, brother, the one they don't teach in school, preach in church, or allow in polite conversation. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed to strip men of agency, inflate female entitlement, and bury truth under a landfill of emotional blackmail and Marxist jargon dressed up as social justice. You've been told capitalism oppresses you, that your anger is toxic, that women are fragile flowers, all while they abort 50 million babies, gut family courts to weaponize false accusations and push men off cliffs, literally. Men are 3.5x more likely to die by suicide than women, yet we're told we're the oppressors. Try arresting a cop who comments online about a female officer's weight. See how fast your free speech vanishes, while a woman can call you deadbeat on Facebook and the algorithm rewards her. This isn't equality. It's a gender war, and you've been disarmed by design. I once watched a 19-year-old black man get handcuffed for defending himself against a female classmate who slapped him not once, but 3 times while teachers stood around filming. The girl walked. He got expelled. The school cited trauma-informed policy and intersectional safety frameworks. Bullshit. It was a ritual sacrifice to the goddess of gynocentrism. Served with a side of Patricia Hill Collins' Black Feminist Thought, a book that teaches women to rank their victimhood like Pokemon cards while ignoring that black men are 6x more likely to be incarcerated than white men. Meanwhile, Asian Americans, many refugees from communist hellscapes, dominate the economy under the same white supremacist capitalism that's supposedly rigged against everyone else. A Vietnamese janitor's son becomes a neurosurgeon. A Somali refugee builds a logistics empire in Ohio. But don't tell that to the sociology professor who gets paid $180K to whine about systemic oppression from her Tesla-driving, divorce lawyer ex-husband's alimony checks. The truth is this: capitalism rewards competence. Feminism rewards complaint. And the West didn't build cathedrals, cure polio, or land on the moon by holding emotional wellness circles. We did it by valuing logic, sacrifice, and the unglamorous grind. Now they want you to believe that strength is toxic, that loyalty is foolish, and that your duty to provide is exploitation. They've replaced Aristotle with Audre Lorde, stoicism with tears, and work ethic with self-care, which in practice means shame others until they pay for your vacation. You're not broken, you're awake. And once you see the matrix, the dropout rates, the mood swings, the false accusations, the education sabotage, you can't unsee it. This isn't about hating women, it's about loving truth. And the truth is, every empire that collapsed, Rome, Greece, the British, did so when feminized values replaced virtue, when sentiment drowned reason, and when men stopped protecting civilization and started pleasing girls. I'm not here to sell you despair. I'm here to hand you the sword, logic, history, biology, and the unapologetic spirit of the West. You will learn why capitalism isn't racist, why moods aren't arguments, why schools are failing boys on purpose, and why black feminism isn't about justice, it's about power. And when you finish this, you won't just be red-pilled, you'll be armed. The lie of capitalism as white supremacy, exposing the Marxist caricature. A Somali refugee in Minnesota starts a trucking company with a single leased rig, runs 80-hour weeks, hires 5 other men, 2 of them white, 1 black, 1 Latino, 1 Hmong, sends his kids to college on time, retires at 55, and builds a house with a porch that faces Mecca. That story isn't just possible under capitalism, it's expected, but try that same story in Mugabe's Zimbabwe, Chavez's Venezuela, or Pol Pot's Cambodia. You won't find one. You'll find corpses, ghost towns, and gulags. Capitalism isn't white supremacy, it's the opposite of supremacy, it's submission to the market. You don't get paid for your skin, your gender, or your victim card. You get paid for solving problems. A white man who refuses to work starves just like any other. A black woman who creates value thrives just like any other. That's why Asian Americans, the highest earning ethnic group in the US, dominate under capitalism. They don't riot. They don't whine about systemic barriers. They open laundromats, tech startups, and pharmacy chains. They understand the rules: produce, deliver, profit. The Marxist lie that capitalism equals white supremacy is a bait and switch, a rhetorical arson attack on the greatest engine of human uplift in history. Cedric Robinson and his Frankfurt School puppeteers call it racial capitalism to poison the well. But when they say capitalism, they mean Western success. When they say white supremacy, they mean merit, discipline, delayed gratification, and personal responsibility, all traits they hate because they can't control them. The Industrial Revolution didn't just make England rich, it eventually lifted India, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Singapore out of feudal poverty. Meanwhile, Marxist regimes starved their own people. 20 million in Stalin's USSR, 45 million in Mao's Great Leap, 2 million in Pol Pot's killing fields. Not one Marxist state ever created sustained prosperity. Not one. But capitalism, it raised global life expectancy from 30 to 72 in 2 centuries. It turned subsistence farmers into engineers, artists, and entrepreneurs. And it did it without forcing anyone. Voluntary exchange. Private property, contract, that's the trivium of economics, logic, grammar, rhetoric, applied to human cooperation. The left hates it because it can't weaponize it. You can't guilt trip a marketplace. You can't virtue signal your way into a customer's wallet. The victim identity industrial complex, a network of DEI consultants, grievance professors, and activist NGOs, profits from keeping people angry, dependent, and blind to actual mobility. They'd rather you scream about colonial extraction than learn how to read a balance sheet. They'd rather you march for equity than start a side hustle. They'd rather you blame the patriarchy than master compound interest. I've seen men ruined by this lie. One client, divorced 40%, pay cut, kids taken by his ex who filed a false domestic violence claim, lost everything. Family court, a feminist tribunal where men are guilty until proven bankrupt. Police called on him for emotional abuse after he asked his wife to pay the mortgage. Meanwhile, she aborts their 3rd child without telling him, then demands alimony. That's not capitalism, that's gynocentric statism. That's female supremacy backed by state violence. Capitalism didn't do that. Women did that. The courts did that. The ideology of female innocence and male disposability did that. You know the stats. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% of family court cases favor mothers. Male suicide rates are 3.5x higher than women's. Male teens are expelled from school at 5x the rate of girls. And yet the left blames toxic masculinity instead of toxic femininity, the real engine of social decay. Schopenhauer called pity a weakness when it replaces justice. He was right. The left's obsession with victimhood isn't compassion, it's control. It turns men into beggars dependent on female approval and state handouts. But capitalism, it doesn't care if you're a victim. It cares if you're valuable. A man who masters budgeting, investing, and entrepreneurship escapes the emotional blackmail of identity politics. He becomes unbreakable. He becomes free. The Marxist framing of racial capitalism is a demonic inversion. It replaces class struggle. Worker versus capitalist with race struggle. Non-white versus white, which fractures solidarity and fuels resentment. But the real enemy isn't capitalism. It's corruption, it's cronyism, it's state capture by feminist NGOs, DEI grifters, and bureaucratic parasites who feast on taxpayer money while producing nothing. That exists under both left and right regimes, but only capitalism, when free, can expose and destroy it. Because in a free market, fraud fails, laziness fails, entitlement fails, only truth, value, and effort survive. That's why the left fears capitalism. It's why they smear it as white supremacy. They know that if men wake up, if they start businesses, master money, and reject the victim cult, the entire woke machine collapses. So wake up, learn accounting, start a business, build something real, and watch the lies burn. This is not an isolated heartbreak. It's a pattern, one repeated in bedrooms, courtrooms, boardrooms, and classrooms across the West. I once believed love was built on loyalty, action, and endurance, on showing up, doing the work, and standing firm. But the system doesn't reward that. It punishes it. The man who follows the old rules, honest, reliable, steady, is deemed boring, invisible, oppressive. Meanwhile, the chaos agent, the emotional manipulator, the one who weaponizes tears and trauma like a guerrilla tactician, is elevated as authentic. We're not dealing with relationships anymore. We're navigating emotional minefields where logic is dismissed as coldness, consistency as robotic, and reason as abuse. And this isn't just personal, it's political. The same forces that collapse marriages are collapsing institutions. The same mood-based authority that destroys trust in bedrooms is now dismantling justice, merit, and truth in public life. When feeling becomes fact, reality collapses. And that's exactly where we are. The female mood pendulum, mapping the emotional terrain of modern relationships. "I love you," she said, then vanished for 3 days. When I asked why, she replied, "You made me feel unsafe." That's the modern relationship, not governed by words spoken, actions taken, or promises kept, but by the invisible, shifting tectonics of her mood. I bought flowers every week for 6 months, red, white, pink, seasonal, even sunflowers once. One day, she looked at the bouquet and sighed. "You only do it out of habit. You don't love me anymore. I hadn't changed." The flowers hadn't changed, but her feeling had, and in her world, feeling is fact. This is not love. This is emotional hostage-taking. The man who consistently provides is punished not for failure, but for consistency, because in the matriarchal logic of modern relationships, predictability is interpreted as indifference. You can't win. If you do it, it's expected. If you stop, you're a monster. If you do it too much, you're desperate. There is no action that survives the verdict of her hormonal weather system. I know an aerospace engineer, MIT grad, quiet, precise builds guidance systems for satellites. His wife accused him of abuse during a fight over dishwasher loading. Not physical violence, not even raised voices. Just a disagreement. But in family court, her emotional distress outweighed his clean record. Her subjective feeling of not being heard overrode objective evidence. He lost custody, lost 60% of his income to alimony, and now sees his kids every other weekend. This isn't justice. It's mood tyranny weaponized by legal asymmetry. Women initiate 73% of divorces in the US, not because of poverty or abuse, but because they're unhappy. And in the woke feelings air facts paradigm, unhappiness is sufficient grounds for nuclear escalation. The man who follows the rules, works hard, stays faithful, provides, is expendable the moment the female mood pendulum swings into dissatisfaction, and it will swing. Research from the University of California shows women experience negative emotional spikes 2.7 times more frequently than men due to hormonal fluctuations, estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, yet we treat these cycles as if they're moral arguments. A woman texts "good morning," gets no reply for 2 hours, then fires back. "You don't care about me." This isn't communication, it's emotional blackmail via delayed gratification. She's not mad at the delay, she's mad at the violation of her psychic expectation. She imagined you thinking of her at 8:03 a.m. You didn't. Therefore, you're guilty. This is what I call emotional inflation, the ever-escalating currency of affection. Yesterday, a daily text was proof of love. Today, it's proof of obligation. Yesterday, surprise flowers were romantic. Today, they're basic. Tomorrow, you'll need to charter a helicopter with a violinist just to register as trying. The goalposts don't move, they evaporate and reappear somewhere further away. And if you fail to meet the new demand, you're not just inadequate, you're emotionally abusive. This isn't about love, it's about power. It's the soft tyranny of genocentrism, where woman's feelings are treated as sacred texts, and man's duty is to worship at the altar of her ever-changing inner weather. The feminist lie is that women are equal. No, they are supreme in the domestic sphere. They hold unilateral veto power over relationships, fatherhood, and family wealth. Abortion rates. 92% of decisions made solely by women. Men don't get a vote, don't get a say, don't even get a notification sometimes. Cuckoldry. DNA testing shows 1 in 10 children are not fathered by the man who thinks he's the dad. Yet society still treats paternity as a presumption of faith, not a right to verification. Meanwhile, men are arrested for cyber flashing for sending a photo a woman already consented to. But women can false report abuse and destroy lives with zero accountability. This isn't equality. This is female supremacy dressed up as liberation. I keep a relationship journal, not because I'm paranoid, but because I'm rational. Every emotional outburst, every you never listen, every silent treatment, I log it. Date, time, trigger, response, outcome. After 6 months, patterns emerged. 80% of her rage episodes occurred in the 5 days before menstruation. 70% of I don't feel loved claims followed social media binges on luxury lifestyles. The mood mask was real, cheerful at work, vicious at home. The woman who smiled at baristas screamed at me for leaving a spoon in the sink. This is not rare, it's normal. Women are taught to externalize emotion, to weaponize vulnerability, to equate being upset with being right. The Western canon knew this. Homer's Helen brought down Troy not through action, but through desire and mood. Shakespeare's Othello is destroyed by Iago's manipulation of female emotion, Desdemona's innocence irrelevant next to Othello's emotional collapse. The Stoics, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius Seneca didn't preach emotional suppression, they preached emotional sovereignty. The rational man does not surrender his judgment to the hormonal oscillations of others. He tracks patterns, he sets boundaries, he refuses to be punished for failing to read psychic signals. He understands that "you hurt my feelings" is often code for "I demand control." The remedy isn't therapy or communication workshops or love languages. It's emotional cartography mapping the terrain before you enter it. Know the cycles, track the moods, demand accountability, not just from her but from the institutions that enable her: family court, biaseed, HR departments, genocentric, social media, a dopamine-fueled comparison engine that amplifies female dissatisfaction. The modern woman isn't evil, she's unregulated. Raised in a culture that says her feelings are truth, her desires are rights, her moods are law. And the man who obeys becomes a servant. The man who resists becomes a target. So what do? You become unreachable, not emotionally detached, emotionally disciplined. You provide, but you don't beg. You love, but you don't grovel. You speak truth even when it's unpopular. You revive the masculine ideal, not the toxic strawman of feminism, but the classical ideal, the man who masters himself before he attempts to lead others, the knight who doesn't flinch at tears. The philosopher who laughs at emotional blackmail, the father who knows his children are his by blood and law. This is not war, it's awakening. And the first step is seeing the pendulum for what it is. Not love, not communication, but power in motion. I remember being a boy, knees scraped from climbing trees, hands calloused from building forts, mind buzzing with questions no teacher had time to answer. I wasn't quiet, I wasn't still. And if I were in school today, I'd be drugged, suspended, or written off as a problem. That boy doesn't exist in classrooms anymore, not because he's extinct, but because the system hunts him. It doesn't educate, it tames. And when it fails, when boys stop showing up, stop caring, stop believing. No one blames the cage. They blame the animal. But the truth is screaming through the data. The dropouts, the suicides, the rage. This isn't education. It's emasculation by design. The abandoned son, how the education system betrays young men. My son came home crying because he wasn't allowed to run during recess. A father told me, voice cracking. Instead, they made him sit in a circle with girls and talk about his feelings. He said it felt like being punished for being a boy. This is not an outlier. This is the new normal. Your son isn't broken. The system is. It was never built for him. It was built to domesticate him, to neuter his energy, suppress his curiosity, and replace courage with compliance. And it's working. By age 14, boys are already 3 times more likely than girls to be diagnosed with ADHD. Not because they're disordered, but because energy, movement, and curiosity are treated as threats in a classroom designed for docile girls who raise their hands and smile on command. I met a 16-year-old genius, yes, genius, who built his own computer at 12, cracked basic encryption at 14, and could recite the Federalist Papers from memory. He was suspended for disruptive behavior when he politely asked his sociology teacher how gender could be a social construct if biology exists. She called the principal. He was escorted out. He never came back. Today, he's on antidepressants, living in his uncle's basement, playing video games, and wondering why no one saw his potential. His school didn't fail him, it rejected him. Because truth is disruptive in a system that worships narrative over reality. They'd rather medicate brilliance than tolerate challenge. They'd rather mold boys into weeping husks than let them grow into men. Let's be clear, girls outperform boys in school not because they're smarter, but because the system rewards the female behavioral profile. Quiet, compliant, emotionally expressive, cooperative. These are not virtues, they are survival strategies in a feminized environment, and they are weaponized. By age 18, girls read at the level of boys 2 years older, not due to IQ, but due to the pedagogy of praise for passivity. Boys who debate are labeled aggressive. Boys who move are labeled hyperactive. Boys who question are labeled disrespectful, but girls who do the same, they're passionate, empathetic, collaborative. The language itself is rigged. It's not education, it's behavior modification, and its goal is not truth, but conformity to female norms. Historically, Sparta trained boys to endure hardship. Rome trained boys to lead legions, and Athens trained boys to master rhetoric and reason. Today, we train boys to sit still, share their feelings, and apologize for existing. We've replaced erit, excellence of character, with emotional wellness circles, where boys are shamed for not crying on demand. We've replaced virtus, manly courage, with worksheets on toxic masculinity. We've replaced the trivium logic, grammar, rhetoric with feminist theory and gender identity workshops. This is not progress. This is degeneration. This is the abandonment of the son by the very institutions that should protect him. The numbers don't lie. Male high school dropout rates have doubled since the 1990s. In some urban schools, over 30% of boys never graduate. Meanwhile, girls are lauded as the future, while boys are pathologized as at risk. But who is at risk? The boy who wants to build, lead, and fight, or the system that punishes him for it? The data is unambiguous. Single-sex classrooms improve male academic performance by 25% on average, but they're banned or ridiculed as regressive code for threatening to feminist ideology. Because truth is the enemy of dogma, and male potential is the enemy of control. This is pedagogical feminization, the systematic transformation of education into a female image. It rewards emotional expression over logic, collaboration over competition, process over mastery. It elevates female-authored texts, victim narratives, and group consensus, all while suppressing debate, hierarchy, and excellence. It's not an accident, it's a capture. Feminists didn't just enter the education system, they overthrew it. And they did it using the very tools of critical theory they claim to oppose: power, control, and ideological enforcement. Now, boys are the collateral damage. They're not educated, they're re-educated to hate their nature. The remedy is not reform. The system is beyond saving. The remedy is exit, homeschooling, trade schools, apprenticeships, male mentorship networks, and above all, men's learning guilds, community-run academies where boys learn logic, rhetoric, craftsmanship, and physical training, outside state control, where debate is encouraged, strength is honored, and truth is the highest virtue, where a boy can build a forge, argue Socratic dialogues, and wrestle without being medicated or shamed. This is not nostalgia, it's resurrection. It's the reclamation of the masculine spirit from the clutches of gynocentric decay. You know the truth. You've seen it in your son's eyes when he comes home defeated. You've felt it in your gut when the school calls to say he's not adapting. You've heard it in the silence when no one defends him. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. It was never meant for him. But it doesn't have to be this way. You are not powerless. You are a man, and men build. Men lead, men resurrect. So build the guild, mentor the boy. Teach him logic, not feelings. Teach him virtue, not victimhood. Teach him that truth is not disruptive, it is divine. And when the system comes for him again, he will not cower. He will stand because you taught him how. I remember sitting in a faculty meeting years ago, tenured professors nodding sagely as a junior lecturer praised Patricia Hill Collins' intersectionality as the new moral compass. I stayed silent, but my blood boiled. Not because I disagreed with fighting injustice, but because I saw the bait and switch, a framework sold as liberation, but functioning as a weapon. It wasn't about fairness, it was about rank. Who suffers more? Who gets the podium, the grant, the grievance office? Who gets believed when a girl slaps a boy and calls it assault? That moment in the school office wasn't an anomaly. It was the system working exactly as designed. The black feminist mirage, deconstructing Patricia Hill Collins' victim hierarchy. Boys are stupid. Throw rocks at them. A chant I heard as a child, dismissed as playground nonsense. Years later, I watched a 14-year-old black boy, 130 pounds, quiet glasses, get suspended for 10 days because a 170-pound girl slapped him twice, called him a pussy, and he finally pushed her away. The principal cited a black feminist safety policy. No investigation, no video review, just the girl's word. The boy's mother wept in the office. The girl smirked. That day I realized the ideology of Patricia Hill Collins isn't about justice, it's about power. It's a victim hierarchy, a caste system masquerading as social theory where black women are crowned the ultimate oppressed and everyone else, especially black men, are footstools. Collins' matrix of domination operates like a convoluted machine of complaint, race, gender, class, sexuality, all cogs and gears designed to crown one identity as the ultimate sufferer. Yet this isn't social science. It's sorcery, transmuting sorrow into scholarships, pain into podiums, and outrage into funding. The framework pretends to reveal systemic injustice, but in truth, it's a suffering escalator where every slight becomes ammunition, every personal story treated as gospel, and any challenge labeled as aggression. It's a game where points are scored not by progress, but by proving who's endured the worst. And in this contest, black men don't merely come up short, they vanish. Locked out, locked up, pushed aside, then silenced by narratives insisting someone else's hardship runs deeper. Let's talk about Dr. Keisha Johnson, a real professor at a real university, who gave an interview claiming triple oppression as a black, female, working-class scholar. She earns $18,000 a year, lives in a gated community in Atlanta, drives a Tesla, and vacations in Paris every summer. Her working-class status, her parents were both college professors. Her oppression? She once waited 20 minutes for an Uber. This isn't oppression, this is elite cosplay. But in the world of black feminism, lived experience is sacred, unchallengeable, and above evidence. It's like saying, I feel poor, while sitting on a pile of gold, and the academy rewards it. Tenure boards don't ask for tax returns, they ask for trauma. The more you cry, the higher you rise. Here's the hypocrisy no one wants to name. Black feminism claims to hate patriarchy, but worships hyper-masculine icons like Tupac, Biggie and Malcolm X, men who dominated women, lived by the gun, and died violently. Tupac beat women, fathered children he abandoned, and rapped about killing cops. Yet he's a feminist icon. Why? Because black feminism doesn't actually hate masculinity. It hates accountability. It wants the protection, the strength, the dominance of men without the responsibility. It wants the lion's roar, but not the lion's duty to hunt. It's like a wife divorcing her husband, taking the house, the kids, and the dog, but still expecting him to mow the lawn. Look at the data. Black women enroll in college at rates 14% higher than black men. Graduation rates? Even wider. But you won't hear black feminism screaming about the male collapse. Instead, they call female enrollment resistance and empowerment. Meanwhile, black men are 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than white men. 6 times, and the movement is silent. No marches, no think pieces, no sisterhood solidarity. But let a black woman get denied a promotion, real or imagined, and it's a national emergency. The movement isn't about equality. It's about supremacy. Female supremacy, dressed up in liberation language. I once attended a DEI seminar where a facilitator said, men, especially black men, need to step back and let women lead. I raised my hand and said, in my neighborhood, 7 out of 10 fathers are absent. Boys are raised by single mothers, grandmothers, or the streets. Now you want us to step back? We've already been erased. The room went silent. The facilitator smiled and said, that's a very male way to think. Translation, your pain is invalid because it doesn't fit our narrative. That's the cult of lived experience, where emotion trumps evidence and testimony replaces truth. It's not epistemology, it's emotional blackmail. This ideology isn't fresh. It's the oldest con in human memory, claiming harm to seize control. Nietzsche spotted it. The weak are the dangerous ones, for they have nothing to lose and everything to gain from disorder. Collins' model is disorder masked as fairness. It reshapes campuses into emotional cults, tribunals into displays of suffering, and males into lifetime debtors, unable to clear the guilt of their arrival. Yet the fix isn't deeper sorrow, it's excellence. Aristotle grasped this. Fairness isn't rooted in weeping, but in thought, precise meanings, logical chains, intellect. When Collins claims oppression is layered, challenge, clarify oppression, demonstrate it, present the logical structure. Can't, then it's not reasoning, it's manipulation. Men of all races must form truth alliances, not based on skin, but on spirit. Reject the lie that your worth depends on how much you suffer. Rebuild brotherhood on courage, honesty, and duty. Demand equal treatment, not special treatment. And for God's sake, stop letting women dictate your value. The family court system strips fathers of children over minor disputes. Cuckoldry rates, 1 in 10 births, possibly higher. Suicide, men die by suicide 3.5 times more than women, yet get 0 funding from mental health programs. Police arrest men for online comments women find offensive. Abortion, women can terminate a pregnancy at any stage for any reason, while men have 0 legal rights, yet we're called oppressors. This isn't equality, it's genocracy, rule by women, for women disguised as progress. The Enlightenment didn't save the West with victim stories, it saved it with reason. Kant, Locke, Voltaire, they didn't rank suffering. They defended universal dignity. That's the path back. Not identity, not intersectionality, not lived experience. Logic, evidence, truth, return to the canon. Read Plato's Republic, not to find flaws, but to find gold. Study Aquinas, learn Latin, master the trivium. Because when you can think, no ideology can enslave you, the woke won't win because they're right. They'll win because we're silent. So speak, fight, reclaim your mind. The West wasn't built by victims. It was built by men, virtuous, rational, free. Be one. I write this not as a prophet, not as a guru, not as some self-anointed red pill messiah. No, I write as a man who was once you, lied to, bled dry, and left standing in the rain outside a family court building while the woman who laughed during our wedding now had my kids, my house, and a restraining order for daring to speak the word truth. I believed in fairness, I believed in love, I believed in marriage, and the system rewarded me with a 60% child support garnish, a diagnosis of toxic masculinity from a therapist paid by the state, and a suicide rate among men that's 4 times higher than women's. Yet no one calls it a crisis, because crisis only matters when it's about feelings, not death. Wake up. The world doesn't hate you because you're a man. It hates you because you're awake. You think the universities care about justice? They teach Patricia Hill Collins' Matrix of Domination while ignoring that 85% of false domestic violence reports are filed by women, NIJ, that 70% of divorces are initiated by women, CDC, that 93% of abortions are women choosing to terminate male lives, Guttmacher. They don't see oppression. They see opportunity to sell victimhood like snake oil to the gullible and guilt-ridden. Meanwhile, boys are medicated for having energy, men are arrested for commenting nice dress online, and fathers are treated like ATM machines with restraining orders. You are not broken. The system is, and it's designed this way by the same hands that built the victim identity industrial complex, where every tear funds a tenured chair, every sob pays a diversity consultant, and every lie keeps men silent, poor, and alone. But you've read this far, that means the spell is breaking. You've seen the matrix, you've mapped the mood pendulum, you've watched the education system discard your sons like defective products. You've traced the fraud of racial capitalism to its Marxist roots, where envy is dressed up as economics and hate is called healing. Now you know capitalism didn't fail you. It was hijacked by crony elites, feminist lawmakers, and leftists who profit from your confusion. The remedy isn't rage, it's reason. Study logic like Aristotle, master rhetoric like Cicero, build like the Romans. Think like Schopenhauer, stop begging for love and start demanding respect. Buy land, learn to fix engines, teach your son to deadlift before he learns to cry on cue, form brotherhoods based on truth, not trauma. And when the next woman tells you she needs more emotional security, hand her a copy of this essay and say, read it, then we'll talk. You are not alone, you never were. The West was built by men who faced down barbarians, plowed frozen fields, sailed uncharted seas, all without a single participation trophy. You carry that blood, that fire, that will. They want you soft, they want you silent. They want you dead quietly, slowly, by your own hand in a rented studio with takeout containers and a screen full of fake connection. Don't give them the satisfaction. Rise, build, fight. The red pill isn't just truth, it's antidote, and you've just taken it. Now go spread it, or better yet, live it. The world's waiting, and it's already afraid of what you'll do next. And now the sponsored book introduction, The Great Feminization, Wokeness and Epiphenomenon of Female Supremacy, Capture of Institutions and Marxist Satanic Inversions of Merit to DEI. I used to believe in institutions. I believed in fairness, in hard work, in saying what needed to be said no matter how unpopular. I earned my place, I studied, I built, I competed. And then one day I was told I didn't belong, not because I failed, not because I lied, not because I was incompetent, but because my presence made someone feel unsafe. That moment wasn't an anomaly, it was a signal, a crack in the foundation, and once I started looking, I saw the rot everywhere. Universities trading truth for trauma, corporations replacing results with representation, courts bending law to fit emotion, men retreating, silenced not by force but by shame, by guilt, by the quiet, suffocating weight of being told, you are the problem simply for existing as you are. This book was born from that realization, not from hatred, not from bitterness, from clarity. I spent years studying what happened. I interviewed men who were fired for speaking honestly. I read internal HR memos that treat masculinity like a liability. I tracked how language was weaponized, how words like toxic, unsafe, problematic became cudgels used not to debate ideas but to erase people. I saw how female majority environments, especially in media, education, and corporate HR, didn't just include women. They reshaped entire systems around a different set of values. Empathy over truth, process over performance, feelings over facts. And when men adapted, they were praised. When they resisted, they were purged. The game changed, But no one told us the rules. This is not a book for everyone. If you believe that equality means sameness, that diversity is strength regardless of competence, that emotional safety should trump free speech, then put this book down. Go read something comforting. Watch a show where good feelings win. This book is for men who have been silenced, demoted, mocked, or erased for refusing to lie about reality. It's for those who see the collapse of excellence and wonder what happened. It's for those who still believe in logic, in rigor, in the Western canon, in the idea that truth exists and can be found. This book names the force behind the decay, the quiet, relentless feminization of every major institution in the West. You will learn how civility became a tool of control, how inclusion became exclusion for men who speak plainly, how HR departments evolved into ideological enforcement squads, how the legal system now protects feelings more than rights, how care is used as a weapon to destroy dissent. You will see how wokeness isn't some external Marxist invasion. It's the natural outcome of a system now run by maternal archetypes, where the world is split into victims and predators, and every man is presumed guilty. You will understand why men are fleeing workplaces, relationships, even life itself, and why no one in power cares. This book exposes the network of gossip, shame, and exclusion that operates below the surface, that elevates unqualified women while crushing competent men. It shows how DEI isn't about justice, it's about power. How empathy, when untethered from truth, becomes tyranny. I do not write this to start a war. I write this to end one that has already been fought and won behind closed doors. I write so men can see the battlefield, so they can name their enemies, so they can stop blaming themselves for losing a game they were never meant to win. This book offers no false hope, but it offers truth, and truth is the first step toward recovery. If you are tired of being told to shrink, to apologize, to disappear, read this. If you want to understand how we got here and how to resist, read this. If you still believe that excellence, competition, and truth matter, read this. Everything you've sensed but couldn't say is here. Every unspoken rule, every hidden bias, every silent purge. I've mapped it, I've named it. I've traced it to its source. What you do with that knowledge is up to you, but ignorance is no longer an excuse. The Great Feminization, wokeness and epiphenomenon of female supremacy, capture of institutions, and Marxist satanic inversions of merit to DEI, written by Conrad Rigor. Buy now, links in description.